Welcome to Architectural Intelligence. I'm Carl, and I'm going to give you a brief on this weld symbol that we've added to the AI Dropbox for your use. You'll also find on the Dropbox the weld symbols PDF, and this pretty much gives an explanation of weld symbols and how they're used and how the flags and all the little graphical attributes work on a weld symbol. The weld symbol that I've given you here doesn't cover every one of these aspects. It pretty much deals with the most commonly used ones for architects, which are like fillet welds and some spot welds and stuff like that. But anyways, it's just a general tool to kind of give you the ability to quickly flag a weld on let's say a post to a steel plate for like a guardrail or something like that. So when you load the family into Revit, it'll come into your family's annotation symbols. It'll come in as a weld symbol, and you can go ahead and drag and drop it over, and those are the default settings you're going to get. When you activate it, you'll see the various controls that you'll have. There's a bunch of visibility controls for the graphical elements of the symbol, and then some number and annotation controls here. So it doesn't come in with an arrow, so you have to add an arrow. So you add an arrow, and in this case, it actually I'd done this earlier, and it's taken in the default, but it comes in with a with no arrowhead. So to get the arrowhead, you just go into Edit Type, and you just select the arrowhead that you want. So that's how you get that. So then you just set it to where you're going to weld, and as you can see, this is calling for a field weld rather than a shop weld. So if it's a shop weld, you just pull that off. You select it, and it'll go away. So we'll do a field weld. We're going to put a weld node on here. All right, and you'll see that note area become active. We're going to say post to beam, and you'll see that text field got filled in up here under weld note. Then pretty much the most commonly used one is fillet weld. In this case, it's referencing the arrow side. So if you've got like a two-sided plate and you want to weld on the opposite side, then obviously you put it on the opposite side. When you do that, you see that's the field weld for the arrow side fillet weld, and that's the fillet weld for the opposite side. So you've got some flexibility controlling that location. And then we want this particular fillet weld to be all the way around, so we're going to say all around. We'll select that, so that gives this symbol for all around. And we want this to be a 1/4 inch fillet weld all around, so we can actually select here 1/4 inch. And you don't have to put in the inch symbol. Obviously it's going to overlap if you do. It's pretty well understood that it's not going to be in anything but fractions of an inch. But you'll notice that it went right into the arrow side, 1/4 inch, so you could actually type it in here in the properties dialog, and it'll drive it back into the symbol if you forgot exactly where it needed to be. So in this case, let's say if this was a plate-to-plate situation and we wanted to give the length, we would come in here, so it's weld length arrow side. We'd put a 1 inch in here, and then spacing and pitch. The PDF will actually explain that. In fact, see if I can I just kind of stopped on it. This is the part of the PDF that talks about length and pitch and staggered offsets. So that's what it's referencing. So if you had a 1 inch and you wanted a spacing pitch of like say 4 inches, so that would be the settings for that particular weld type. So pretty much tool that just kind of saves you some graphic headaches and having to deal with all these little graphical attributes, and the ability to turn them on off quickly and just flag that weld and be done with it. So that's pretty much the weld symbol. Hope you guys can find it useful and enjoy.